Okay, in this video we're going to talk about reflecting over both the y and the x-axis. We're going to do the y-axis first here in this first side, and then if you see here, when we scroll down later, we talk about reflections over the x-axis in particular. When we talk about reflecting over a particular axis, what we are doing is we are looking at where essentially the fold is going to be. When we talk about reflections, we can talk about folding a piece of paper, and what is going to be on one side is going to be exactly the same on the other side. So when we're talking about reflections over the y-axis, our fold line is going to be this y-axis here, and I'll highlight it just in this first double. And you don't have to highlight it, I'll just highlight it on mine to make it easier for you to see. So it says, find the coordinates of the vertices of each figure after the given transformation. The first transformation is reflection over the y-axis. Keep in mind, this is our fold line. Okay, the y-axis, what is it going to look like over on this side after we fold it together? So what we're going to do is we're going to count how many units away from this line of reflection, okay, or the y-axis as it's determined here. In this first example, we determined A is 2 units away from the y-axis, and I counted that. I started here, I counted 1, 2, A is right here. So what I'm going to do to find the reflection across the y-axis, I'm going to start at my line of reflection. And I'm going to count 1, 2 in the other direction. What we're going to call this, we're going to call this A prime. That is A, and then with a little apostrophe over the top, we call that A prime. I think it erased there. What you see here in the reflection, okay, in the original it was 1, 2 units away, so the reflection here is going to be 1, 2 units away. You can see if we folded right along this highlighted line, A and A prime would match up perfectly with each other. Let's move on to 2. 2, in a similar fashion, we're going to reflect across the y-axis. You have to think, where is the fold line going to be? The fold line in this case is going to be the y-axis. I'm going to highlight it. That's not very good. Highlight it again. This entire y-axis is going to be our fold line. In this example, G is only 1 unit away from the y-axis. So I start at my y-axis. I move 1 unit to the left, and that's where G prime is going to be. You can see, sorry it keeps disappearing on us. You can see if you fold it over this y-axis, G prime is going to end up right here. Okay, 1 unit away from the y-axis on this side, it's going to be 1 unit away from the y-axis on this side. It's still a little bit more complicated when we have a shape with a few more vertices. The direction is the same. We have to reflect across the y-axis. And you have to think about, where is the fold line going to be? It's going to be right here in the middle, because that's the y-axis. Alright, and again, you have to think about how far away from this line of reflection are these particular points. Okay, we're going to start with C first. I'm going to start here at the line of reflection. I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3. And you can do that on your paper with me. 1, 2, 3. So, let's start back here at the line of reflection. I'm going to count 3 spaces the other way. 1, 2, 3. And put a point here. Make sure that when you put your point, right after you do that, you label it C prime. Okay, it's very important because sometimes when we plot a bunch of points, it gets confusing as which one we just plotted. So we started on our line of reflection, we counted over 1, 2, 3. Started at the line of reflection, 1, 2, 3. We have our first vertex. Let's do J next. Start at the line of reflection, count 1, 2. Line of reflection, 1, 2. I'm going to do a line of reflection, count the other way, 1, 2. And this is J prime. Okay, it's very important, like I said, to label it because it can tend to be confusing. If we just slid over the triangle, we may think it was J prime. However, we know from counting that this is actually Q prime. Now let's do J. Start at the line of reflection. Count 1, 2, 3, 4. Line of reflection 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do the same thing the other way. Start at the line of reflection 1, 2, 3, 4. Put our point here and label that J prime. We can connect our vertices now. And I know mine's not the neatest, and you can use a ruler to make sure it's a little bit neater than mine. But what we've done is we've taken this original image over here, reflected it over the y-axis, and made it line up exactly on the other side. So if we were to fold over this line that I highlighted, what you're going to get is this exact image on the other side. Okay. Keep in mind, at any point you can pause this video if you need to catch up, if you need to write any points down, okay? If you need to just rewatch something again, you can always just rewind and then turn it back up. 4, reflection across the y-axis, okay? Think about it. We're going straight down the middle. Okay, there's our line of reflection. Alright, and we're going to go through each vertice and figure out its reflection. I'm going to do y first. I'm going to start the line of reflection. I'm going to count to y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Start the line of reflection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can do it the exact same the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put my dot here. We're going to label this y prime. Okay. I don't know why the dots keep going away. I'm sorry about that, but that's y prime. I'm going to move up and do A next. Start at the line of reflection. Count over just 1. So I can move up to the line of reflection. Count to the left. Just 1 time. That's going to give me A prime. Do the same thing with E. Move up to the line of reflection. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Start at the line of reflection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put my point here. That's going to be E prime. Alright. Connect all of my points. And you can see the reflected triangle on the other side of the y-axis. Okay. At this point in the video, you should be getting a pretty good idea of what we need to do. Okay. So what I want you to do now is I want you to try 5 and 6 on your own. Okay, what you're going to need to do is pause the video after I get done talking here in a second. Try 5, try 6, and then come back. What I want you to do. Pause now and try 5 and 6. Hit pause. Okay, at this point you should have paused and you should have attempted 5 and 6 on your own. Now you're going to watch me to make sure that you did it correctly. I'm going to go ahead and highlight the line of reflection for each one of these. They're both the y-axis, so it's right down the middle. I'll do number 5 first. Zoom in a little bit more. Okay. The first point that I'm going to choose to do is I'm going to choose this eye. Okay. I'm going to start the line of reflection and count over 1. Okay. Then count here on the line of reflection. And that's going to be I prime. Okay. I'm going to do Z next. Start the line of reflection, count over 1, 2. Okay. 1, 2 to the line of reflection, so I just need to count 1, 2. It's going to be Z prime. I'm going to show you a little different way to count on this one if this may help. You can also start at the point. So start at C, count over 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Count that way. And then A, you see, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A prime. And connect all my points. And I've made that reflected image. Okay, not very neat, but it'll get the job done. 6 will be the same way, reflecting across the y-axis. Okay, I'm going to use the counting method that I showed in the previous example. I'm going to start at P, and count over 1, 2, 3, 4, and recount 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, what you should be seeing is that this point is just as far from the highlighted line as this point is. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Go up to H. H is just 1 unit away, so I can go 1. Then I'll move 1 unit here. H prime. And then A, up here, is 2 units. 1, 2. So I count over 2. 1, 2. And label that A prime. And once again, I can connect all my points. Good. And then you can see that we've reflected over the y-axis. Okay. If you have any questions, at this point now would be a good time to raise your hand and kind of bring me over to see if there's anything I can help you with. If not, you can go ahead, close this video, and then continue to the next video that discusses reflections over the x-axis. Okay, very similar thinking, it's just going to be a little different. Instead of going up and down, okay, like you see in all these examples, our line of reflection for this activity is actually going to be the x-axis. Okay, so right down the middle. Alright, like I said, if you have figured it out at this point, you can close out of this video and go to the x-axis video.